All right, guys, this is our Unit 2 test review, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start right on the B problems. So we want to find a domain and range of the function. So we know that domain is our x, so we're going to be looking at that from left to right. Okay, and our range is going to be our y. We're going to be looking at that from bottom to top. So one thing I like to do is draw a boundary line so I can know where I'm starting and where I'm stopping. Okay, so I'm starting here and I'm stopping here. So let's draw those boundary lines so we can see our intervals. Okay, so we're looking left to right. So here we see we have an arrow on this end. So an arrow means it's going to go on to negative infinity. Okay, that means it's going to keep going. And right here it's stopping at 2. So I know that my numbers are going from negative infinity to 2. These are my x values. So when I write my domain, it's to the left of 2. So this means that it's going to be x is less than 2. And then I will look at my dot and I see that I have a closed dot. So it's going to have the equal to under there. Okay. Just in case you forgot your signs, I'm going to draw them in. So you know when you have the open dot, you have less than and greater than. And when you have the closed dot, you have the less than equal to or greater than or equal to. Okay. So this is our domain. Okay. So our range, we're looking from bottom to top. So I'm going to be drawing horizontal lines through my y-axis. So this is starting at negative 2. And it has an arrow, so that's going to go on to positive infinity. So since it's starting at negative 2 and it's on top, or it's going up from negative 2, I know that my y values are greater than negative 2. Okay, then we still have that closed dot, so it's going to have an equal to. Okay, and this is our range. Okay, so remember, domain, you're looking left to right. Okay, let me spell that right. Okay, and range, you're looking from bottom to top. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. 2B, we have our x and y intercepts. So you know when you have an x-intercept, your y value is going to be 0. So I'm going to be substituting in 0 for y. And when I do my y-intercept, my x is going to be 0. Okay? So when I write out my equation, I'm going to have 3x minus 6 times 0 equal 12. And as you see, I just substituted that in. So 0 times anything is 0, so that's going to cancel out from the beginning. Then I have 3x equal 12. Then I'm going to divide by 3. And I have x equals 4. Okay, please remember to write your intercepts as coordinate points. For the test, let's say you're using a Scantron, or let's say you're doing it on the computer. You want to make sure that you just put 4 for your answer, okay? All right, when we go to y-intercept, we're going to have 3 times 0 minus 6y equals 12. So same thing, I substituted it in, but now it's for my x. So anything times 0, that goes away. So I have negative 6y equal 12. Then I'm going to divide by negative 6. These cancel out here. So then I have y equals negative 2. And my coordinate point would be 0, negative 2. Okay, so if I had a little sketch, let's say I had a little graph, it'll look something like this. So my x-intercept will be here for 0, and my y-intercept will be here. Okay, and then we can connect our dots, and that's our little graph. All right, Let's go to 3B. We got a word problem here. So you want to make sure that you're reading it. I know a lot of students, they say, oh, we don't want to read. We're just going to pick anything. Just read it, and I promise you it's not that bad. So the swim team has 15 people on it. Bags of chip cost 45 cents. A function can be written that describes the total cost of chips as a function of the number of bags sold. Find a domain and range if you are buying chips for the whole team. So before you even start, you want to think about, what did we just read? So we have the Shadow Creek swim team. They're going to be getting bags of chips. So I don't know, Funyuns, Takis, Cheetos, Doritos, just different chips. Okay, so they want us to find a domain and range. We know that domain, excuse me. How do I get rid of that? Okay, let's exit out of that. All right, so we know that domain is X and range is Y. So when I'm doing it, I need to first think about, well, what does my X and Y actually mean? Okay, so we know X is our independent variable. That means the number that I can choose, okay? So we can't determine how much chips cost because that's out of our control, but we can control the number of people that's on the swim team. So this will be number of people. And depending on the number of people that's on this team, that'll determine the total cost of the chips that I buy. Okay. Then we want to think about, is this continuous or discrete? So when we think about a number of people, or we think of bags of chips, let me also put that this could be bags of chips, because we're going to assume that each person is just going to get one bag of chips. Okay. So this is going to be discrete because I can't have half of people. I can't have half a bag of chips. Of course, you know, we can open it and share if we want to. But you cannot go to the store and say, hey, give me half a bag. And they just couldn't. They're not going to do that for you. Okay. So this is going to be a discrete situation. Okay. So now that I know that it's discrete, that means I'm going to be writing my domain and range using my brackets that I'm not too good at drawing. And I'm thinking about the lowest number of people that can be on the team and the highest number that can be on the team. Okay. So, my lowest number I can have is 0. Okay. Even though they told us it's 15, we're just going to kind of assume that, you know, hey, maybe some people didn't show up that day, and, you know, so we want to look at all of our possibilities. So that's going to be 0 to 15. And I'm going to list out all my numbers. Do you have to list out all the numbers? Yes, you do. All right, and then close bracket. Okay, then my Y will determine, or will be dependent on the number of persons. So if I have 0 people, $0. We didn't have to spend anything. If I have 1 person, that's going to be 45 cents. 2 people, 90 cents. Okay, so you're just going to be adding 45 cents each time. Okay, so you could use a calculator here if you get confused, or if you can do it in your head, you can do it that way as well. Okay, so we got 360, we got 405, we have 450, we have 4.95, 540, 585, 630, and then our total amount, if all 15 people show up, will be $6.75. Okay, period. All right, so that is our answer for 3B. All right, let's move on. Okay, so find a slope between the 2 points. So here's where you want to use your formula, which we're going to give you this formula on the test. So if you don't memorize it, it's perfectly fine. But if you can, more power to you. So let's label our points. This is going to be x1, y1. This is going to be x2, y2. Okay? So when you write this out, you want to keep in mind that your y2 is going to go here. Y1 is going to go here. Then your x2 will go here, and your x1 will go here. So let's go ahead and write this out. So I'm going to have -4 minus -8.2. So we got to be careful there. Okay. Then I have 3.2 minus -2. So if you remember from middle school, you have these double negatives here. So you're going to have to either keep, change, flip, add a line, change a sign, or whatever it is that you learned. Okay. So keep, change, flip for both of those. Okay. Then when you actually add this up, your numerator, and I'm going to bring this down, your numerator is going to be 4.2, and your denominator is going to be 5.2. Okay, so this is not the best number, but we're going to simplify that just in case we want to put this on a Scantron or we want to put our answer in. We're going to put that in a calculator so we can get a number. So your number is going to be about 8.807, and let's round that off. So I'm going to just round it off here because it was a 6 after it. So this is going to be my answer, okay?